Western and Northern Nigeria, 1950s. We're going to study the reproduction, objectives, main content, reforms of local government to local government administration, conclusion, summary, tutor marked assessment, assignment, references, further readings. Introduction. The last unit we introduced with the nature of the native administration in Nigeria starting from 1900. We observed the different form of administration of the indirect rule in the northern, western, and eastern provinces in Nigeria. We recall that indirect rule in the three provinces met with different degrees of success. Consequently, the regions, especially the east and the west, witnessed state of riots during the period of administration of indirect rule at the introduction of certain taxes. In this unit, we will learn about the reforms that came immediately after the take-off of indirect rule in the provinces. Objectives. At the end of this stage, we should be able to discuss various reforms that took place after indirect rule at the regions. Again, we should be able to discuss the nature and form of the emerging local governments in the regions. Main content, reforms of local government. Reading from 1947, the British imperial government announced a new policy of local governance in their colonial territories. This was reflected in the dispatch of the Secretary of State for the Colonies, Arthur Crescent Jones, to all British colonial governments, informing them of the need to emphasize the introduction of new reforms towards local governance, which would emphasize efficiency in democratic governance. In Nigeria, the introduction of a new constitution in 1951, that's the McPherson Constitution, facilitated the introduction of new models of governance in line with the 1947 dispatch. This time, in 1950, replaced the Native Authority Ordinance by a local government ordinance. Under the former ordinance, a number of chiefs and elders were appointed by the government to form the Native Authority Council of the area. The local government ordinance of 1950 enabled the majority, that is 80% of the councillors, to be directly elected. The structure of the local government was 3 tiers, comprising of county councils, district councils, and local councils. The county councils corresponded in most cases almost exactly in size to the erstwhile divisional native authorities and performed major services and functions. District and local councils covered smaller areas, the former covering a larger area, that is the county councils, than the district and local councils, but both had powers and functions relative to their sizes. So in 1955, the Minister for Local Government was empowered by the provisions of new local government laws to ensure closer scrutiny and supervision of local government activities. The Eastern region. Okay, the local government law of 1957 increased the autonomy of local authorities as the local government advisors were withdrawn and 3 provincial local government inspectors were appointed for the entire region, thereby making regional government supervision even more remote. In 1958, the county councils were abolished and the district councils became all-purpose local authorities. Thus, in the urban and municipal areas, local governments had only a single tier, while rural areas had 2 tiers of authority, that's district and local authorities. In 1960, the Eastern Nigeria Local Government Law further altered the structure of local government, as the urban and rural district councils were redesignated urban county and county councils respectively. In the West, local government law of 1952 initiated important reforms of the system. However, the element of the reform had to combine the influence and interests of Obas and the chiefs. In response to the challenge posed by the chiefs, the regional government undertook the program of political education to explain the new legislation. The system introduced by the legislature was based on the British 3 tiers structure: divisional, district, and local councils were set up. The divisional councils were conterminous with administrative divisions and perform major functions. The district councils came next in status and performed middle-range functions, while local council was for a small town or group of villages too small to have a district council. Local council performed only minor functions. Local government system in the eastern and western regions were very similar in essential features. Underlying the two systems was a philosophical conception of local government which ascribed to local government higher ultimate political purpose than the mere delivery of social services and implementation of development projects. The ultimate political purpose served by local government as considered in the two regions might be said to include political election for local and national leaders, diffusion of political power on area basis, local self-determination and inculcation of the noble ideals of impartiality, protection of minority rights and integrity. All of these were considered essential to the evolution of a liberal democratic system. The northern region. There were efforts to reform local government in the north, but the objective was not on the democratization of the system. The Native Authority Law of 1954 not only changed little of substance, merely consolidating existing arrangement, but it even retained the term Native Authority. All the 17 native authorities which existed had traditional rulers as their heads. The law made provisions for 5 different types of native authorities, namely chief or other person and council, chief or other person and council, any group of persons and any chief or other person. Northern region. In most places, it was the chief and council pattern that was in place, in which the chief played preeminent and predominant role. However, popular participation was encouraged through subordinate structures. There were village councils. Here, popular participation was allowed, though the emphasis in the north was not on democratization as was the case with the east and the west. However, in spite of the reforms, public complaints against local government performance continued, so there were agents of corruption, nepotism, inefficiency, etc. Consequently, the various governments instituted studies within their local government areas, although there were differences in details. The reforms in the north were similar in implementation to those of the east and the west. They all sought to reduce power from the hands of aristocrats and to provide a legal framework for popular participation. The northern region. Marked important changes in the system of local government in the country. Local government to local administration. That is, the military government of 1966 started a 12-state structure in 1967. The North had 6 states, East had 3, West and Midwestern states, which was carved out from Western region in 1963, had 1 state each. Lagos State maintained the status of being federal capital. Each state was given free hand to develop local government system, regulate its environment and disposition of its people. In 1967, when the state was created, all local government management committees were dissolved and their powers and functions transferred to divisional administrators, designated as sole administrators. The southeastern state and the midwestern state replaced the local government system it inherited with a new system called development administration. The third development administration was chosen as a result of the recommendation of an expert ad hoc committee which examined and advised government on the suitability or otherwise of the system of local government inherited before the war. For the southeastern states, 2 levels of development administration were established: Area Development Committee and Urban or County Development Council. Each area development committee was made up of a number of villages and dealt with projects requiring the completion of more than 1 village. The county or urban development councils covered a number of area committees and served as the center for development administration. In the Midwestern states, development councils and development committees were established. As in all the other cases, all members of development committees and councils were appointed by the military governor in the Midwestern states. Each development committee had a ceremonial president that is a traditional ruler, and a chairman and members. A chairman of all development committees in the division, and between 30 and 40 members constituted each development council. All staff and the president of development councils and committees were elected civil servants. The same was true of the southeastern and east central states. The main objective of the system of local administration as stated in the Midwestern states development administration edicts are to provide a framework for effective coordination and execution of government programs and services in each division, and to facilitate and encourage the participation of the people of each division in the control and management of their local affairs with assistance and under the supervision of the government, by enabling the people to utilize local community efforts and organizations to raise funds and mobilize resources for the general development of their local area. Even though the structure varied, they were designed to achieve the same purpose, that is state government's control of the administration and development of local government. In the western states, by the time the military took over the control of government, national council, that's the first tier of local government, had become most unpopular for some reasons. Many local councils were too small to be viable politically and economically. Local government institutions became the primary institution for coercing local support for the ruler political party. Committees proliferated and unnecessary meetings were frequently held in order to gain certain allowances and to get more involved in day-to-day administration of councils. The East Central State government adopted a different nomenclature for each system of local administration. In the East Central State, a two-tier system of local administration was established. The upper tier was called National Council. The lower tier, which was the primary basis of the new system, was called Community Council. They were constituted at the village group level, very much in line with regional social and political units. In late 1968 and early 1960, civil disorder broke out in several parts of western states as a result of the frustration expressed by the councils due to the absence of effective channels of participation and neglect by the sole administrators. A commission was set up to investigate the civil disorder. One of the recommendations of the commission was that government should undertake as a matter of urgency a review of the existing local government council structure with a view to find out which councils are viable and which are not, and therefore decide on measures for ensuring that only councils viable and capable of filling their statutory obligations remain. In 1973, a new pattern of local government was introduced, the council manager system. The model sought to maximize viability and efficiency. That's the council under the old system were too small and too many. Accordingly, the 114 local government councils of various sizes and stature were merged and constituted into 39 single-tier local government councils. Each council was made up of a management committee, out of which a standing committee was chosen. Another important aspect of the structure of the new system was the creation of area committees in each council area, with varying populations of between 10,000 and 35,000, and with membership of between 10 and 30. Local government, local administration. The process of popular representation in the native administration system in the Atem system was strongly resisted in the 1950s in the name of efficiency and stability. But by 1963, government decided that all native authority councils should have at least some elected members. And by the time the military took over in January 1986, all native authority councils had some elected members. Certain policies of the new military regime quickened the gradual reduction in the power and influence of national rulers even before states were created in 1967. In February 1960, government announced that all native authority political, police, prisons and native courts will be taken over by general government. The Chief Justice of Northern Nigeria was asked to prepare plans for a phased takeover of these functions. By April 1960, all these functions were effectively taken over. Discuss the nature of the representation of the eastern and midwestern states of the 1950s. That's self-assessment exercise. Later, I also see about it. So, a change in terms of reforms. It has been observed, however, that the replacement of local government with local administration was, in essence, not to stimulate local development, but to strengthen military dictatorship. It's part of all the reforms Complaint against local government performance continued. The summary. We have learned in this unit the process of various reforms of taking the three regions shortly before and immediately after the military took over. We learned how the process of the new military takeover affected the power of the regional rulers, national rulers in the scheme of the then local administration. In the first local government reforms in Nigeria. The Unit 4, 1966 local government reform in Nigeria. Introduction, objectives, main content. 1966 local government reforms, conclusion, summary. The reform of 1966 was considered epochal and regarded as a turning point in the evolution of Nigerian local government system because it replaced all the different patterns of local government with a uniform multi-purpose model. It formally recognized the local government as a third-tier arm of government. In this unit, students will learn the details of the reform and see how it transformed the nature of local government in Nigeria. Objectives. At the end of this unit, you should be able to discuss the nature of 1970 local government reform, write the major functions assigned to local government under this reform. The 1960 local government reform. The Civil War and military dictatorship really hampered the systematic growth and development of local government system in Nigeria. Nevertheless, the military rulers of Nigeria, in their quest for administrative reforms, also preoccupied themselves with the status of local government, which had become mere appendages of military governors in the immediate post-wars. These were the antecedents of the ancestral local government reforms of the era of Obasanjo. The reform was part of the military government transitional programs inaugurated in 1975. So the new military that came into office in 1975 pledged to return the country to civilian administration within a short period. They announced a program for the disengagement of the military from political administration, of which the reorganization of local administration was a prominent part. The administration of local administration was an important feature of the program for three reasons. One, strong representative local government was considered to be a precondition for the democratic system at the national level. Two, desire of the new military government to decentralize power, and then finally, desire to reap the benefit believed to be entailed by a decentralized system of administration, such as sensitive local administration, keenly attuned to local needs and purposes, more effective local control, greater efficiency, and the lessening of the local load of administration at the state level. The 1960 local government reform. This reform, the main reason for the reform was for a representative local government system that was considered essential to a national democratic system of government. That strong local authorities will clearly define functional responsibility in a power-sharing relationship with the state was an institutional safeguard against tyranny. The reforms were necessary for greater efficiency and relevance in the division of local services, which will facilitate the integration of the national political system. The highlight of 1960 local government reform are: one, the reform provided single-tier structure for each local government with a minimum population range of 150,000 to 800,000. There was no maximum limit. Two, a minimum of 25% nominated membership structure. The rest were to be elected chairman, and at least 2 or 3 councillors. To designated supervisory councillors, they were to be engaged fully. 3. The role of traditional rulers was clearly spelled out. They were to serve in advisory capacity through the traditional councils. The provision for a steady financial base through grants. This comes in the form of federal and state grants. Provision for increased internal generated revenue. The reform assigned specified functions and as well local government of 2 sources of revenue, the independent sources and physical transfer from the state and the federal government. As regards the functions of local government, the reforms identify them as follows. 1. To make appropriate services and development activities responsible to local wishes and initiatives. 3. To facilitate the exercise of democratic self-government close to the local levels of our society and to encourage institutions and their leadership potentials. 4. To mobilize human and material resources through the involvement of membership of the public in their local development. Finally, to provide a two-way channel of communication between local communities and government. The reform provided for democratically elected local council in line with the provision and functions assigned to local government. The reforms provide that local government councils can be elected either directly or indirectly. So the council elects their own chairman, subject to government approval and decisions by majority votes. Local government councils are single-tier authorities with primary and sole responsibility for exercising statutory powers of the local government. The major aspect of the reform, the 1966 reform, was written into the 1979 Constitution to show that the state government do not go back to these reforms. The Constitution guarantees a system of democratically elected local government, specifies a list of functions for local authorities, and makes it mandatory for the state and federal government to make financial grants to local authorities. However, as part of the significance of the local government reforms, it failed to achieve its objectives, particularly during the Second Republic. The necessary local government reform and subsequent 1979 Constitution left unanswered what should be the definite role of traditional rulers. Again, the financial stability of local government councils somehow reduced them to mere structural decorations, as they were persistently devoid of functional ability shown to the various functions which that they were charged with. Furthermore, the walls for the election of councillors were exceptionally large, suggesting that some communities did not know their councillors. According to Bello Imam, it is thus evident that the emergent structure suffered from various problems which tended to undermine the performance of local government. During the Second Republic, some of the state governments broke up or adjusted local government boundaries without due regard to the viability in order to carve out more favorable basis for political survival. Conclusion. I observe the here that the local government reform brought significant changes in the world of local government in the country. It provided for democratically elected local councils, assigned specific functions to be undertaken by local government, and recognized local government as the next tier of government. In spite of all this, it failed to achieve its objectives, particularly during the Second Republic. Unit 5, Local Government since 1985. We have the contents. Next is the introduction. So in the last unit, we were able to identify some of the problems associated with the 1966 local government reforms in Nigeria. The local government system was politicized, with most state governments opting for the committee system, which negated the elective principle in favor of appointment of local government officials. So in this unit, we are going to learn about development in local government system in Nigeria after the failure in the operation of the 1966 local government reform. The objectives are there. The main content. Local government since 1985. All the problems discussed previously negated necessary local government reforms. However, with the coming of the Buhari and the military regime, all the local governments created between 1979 and 1983 by some Second Republic state governors was dissolved. General Buhari and Diabo was set up a 21-man committee headed by Alhaji Ibrahim Dasuki. The committee was to evolve the most suitable mode of managing local government in the context of the present military administration. 2. To re-examine existing structures, functions, and financial resources available to local governments for the performance of those functions. To look into the accounting problems of local government, including the standardization of various departments of the council, to involve proper place of national authorities in local governments. Again, to propose how best to manage intergovernmental relations between local government and ministry, for local government, local service boards, so commissions. And again, to work out manpower development schemes for all cadres of local government, relevant for the improvement of local governance administration in the country. The Bangladesh administration that came in 1985 adopted the statistical report, and consequently a white paper on the report was issued in 1986. In the white paper, the military government accepted the recommendation that the structure of local government introduced in 1976 should be retained. It endorsed the pruning of the local councils to 1976 figure and proposed that a management committee be set up to run the councils. As part of the Babangida administration, efforts to return to civil rule by 1992, he set up a 15-member political bureau and instructs it to draw up a program of action which reflected the wishes and aspirations of the people. During the political debates, there were demands for a reorganization of the federal structure so as to correct some of its perceived ills. Part of the political bureau report dealt with how to make the local government agents of national development. So for the 304 local governments inherited, Banda created 149 new ones, thereby bringing the total to 453. Number of local government councils have risen to 704 presently. Section 1 of the first schedule of 1979 Constitution contains the list of functions which are assigned exclusive to local government councils, while Section 2 of that schedule lists functions of the state in whose performance local government councils can participate. In the 1979 Constitution, the functions and responsibilities of the federal government are listed in the exclusive list, legislative list, as contained in part I of the second schedule. In part II of the same schedule was a list showing the functions and responsibilities which are assigned concurrently to the federal and state government. So the description of these, according to the political bureau, are as follows. The functions and responsibilities of the federal and local governments are listed fully, and state governments are assigned residuary functions and responsibilities. This is to say that the functions and responsibilities of state government embrace what accrues to them from the concurrent list of the second schedule, what accrues to them from the concurrent list of the first schedule, and whatever is not allocated to any level of local government. All these mean that any functions and responsibilities which are specifically allocated to any level of government are expected to be performed or carried out by it without reference to any other level of government. The person authorized by law to prescribe the area over which a local government council may exercise authority shall define such area as clearly as practicable and ensure to the extent to which it may be reasonably justifiable. Reasonably justifiable that in defining such area regard is paid to common interest of the community in the area, traditional association of the community, and administrative convenience. Functions of local government. The functions of local government council, as contained in the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, are as follows. They consider and make recommendations to a state commission on economic plan or any similar body. The economic development of the state, particularly in so far as the areas of authority of the council and of the state are affected, and then proposals made by the state commission or body. Still on the functions, they collect rates, radio and television licenses, establish and maintain cemeteries, burial grounds, home for the destitute or infirm, license bicycle tracks, canoes, wheelbarrows, establish, maintain and regulate slaughterhouses, slaughter slabs, market, etc. Still on the functions of local government. Self-assessment. Conclusion. The necessary local government reform was motivated by the desire to promote a culture of democracy in Nigeria, decentralize power and thereby prevent a reoccurrence of tyranny, and promote efficient provision of service at the local level. But as we observed in the last unit, local governments after 1976 were still confronted with problems. The Babangida administration that came in 1985 adopted the school report and accepted the recommendation that the structure of local government introduced in 1976 should be retained. Subsequently, 1979 and 1999 constitutions clearly delineate the functions of local government in the country. However, reorganization of local government system in Nigeria still continues. Summary. We have learned in this unit the further process of transformation of the local government in Nigeria since 1984. We also know the functional responsibilities of the local government as enshrined in the 1999 Constitution, which is still operational till today. Tutor mark assignment. Discuss some of the changes that local government experienced since 1984. What are the functional responsibilities of local government as provided by the 1979 Constitution? References. Thank you and God bless you.